I may have mentioned this before, but I really like cooking savory things like meat with fruit, and today is no exception. I'm making a chicken and apricot jam melt. And to start off with, I'm gonna make my own jam. It takes about 15 minutes. It's really easy. I have 2 pounds of apricots and they go right into a nice big pot, and then half the amount of sugar. I do it by weight, but that's about a pound of sugar, 2.5 cups. And then the juice of half a lemon. You can put a pinch of salt in here too if you want to. And then all you need to do is boil it, sort of mashing it with a potato masher. You can't really mash it in the very beginning, but it gets soft really quickly, and it usually only takes about 15 minutes to get nice and thick and reduced. Leave it, just don't worry about it. So I have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm gonna cut them in half so that they're really nice and thin because they're gonna go into the broiler and they need to cook really fast. You have to slice them horizontally. The really thin cutlets cook so quickly and you don't even need to pound them if you cut them in half like this. Just make sure you have a sharp knife and it's super duper easy. Hand washing. A clean kitchen is a safe kitchen. Okay, I have pre-made my marinade. 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, some chopped garlic, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Just whisk that together. And then the chicken marinates in this. It can go for as little as 10 minutes and up to overnight. So say you do this in the morning and then come home and cook it at night. I think that's a really good plan. I'm just gonna let it sit for a few minutes while I finish up the rest of my stuff, and then I'm gonna do it right away. But it only gets better with age. Straight to the stove. Oh, look at this. It's boiling like crazy. When it starts off, it boils really, really aggressively and gets all foamy and you can't see any fruit. And then as it cooks down slowly, the fruit comes to the top and the foam goes away. And that's when you know it's almost done. Keep mashing it a little bit with the potato masher. It smells fantastic. Apricots are one of those things that actually taste better when they're cooked or dried, to me, than they do when they're fresh. This is done. I'm just gonna turn it off and let it cool a little bit and then get my chicken into the broiler because it's marinated for 10 minutes. It's got enough flavor. Just arrange the chicken on a foil-lined baking sheet in a single layer. They're gonna cook super fast in the broiler because they're so thin. Speed demon dinner. I have my broiler preheating. I like to make sure that it's nice and hot before I put anything in. While that's cooking, I just have a couple more things to do. To grate some cheddar cheese, about a cup. I prefer something pretty sharp, but it's up to you what kind you like. Into a bowl. The bread. 1 long baguette, or 1 baguette, they're all long, right? Cut it in half and then cut it horizontally in half, just because it's easier to handle that way. You don't have to cut it in half first. And then cut it into 8 pieces. All right, check the chicken. That really smells good. I need clean tongs. Take the chicken off the baking sheet because you're gonna put everything back into the oven on the baking sheet. Pour off the juice. You don't want the bread to get soggy when it goes back in the oven. And then line up your bread and spoon some of the jam on top. Now, you do not have to make the apricot jam. I'm just a little bit crazy, so I like to make my own jam, but you don't have to, you can buy some. The flavor of the apricot jam and the mustard in the marinade together is really kind of special. I love sweet and savory. You're probably bored of hearing me say that. Too bad. Chicken goes on top of the delightful jam. Drape the chicken with a little bit of ham, maybe 1 slice per. The last one. And then after that, to hold everything together, you sprinkle it with that cheese. And the cheese is gonna melt in the broiler on top and it's gonna be fantabulous. I have 8, so it's about 2 tablespoons per sandwich. Straight back into the broiler for a few seconds, just until the cheese melts. This should only take a couple minutes. Done, I know it. I feel it in my bones. Ah, that makes me so happy I can barely stand it. This is a dinner-worthy sandwich if I ever saw one. They're too hot to taste really right now, but I can tell you one thing. They're gonna be a little toasty, they're gonna be a little salty, a little sweet, a little tangy, and a lot fantastically delicious.